Democrats do have an advantage over Republicans is candidate quality. let's just. I mean, Andy Bashir he comes from one of the it's probably the gold ticket surname to have in the state of Kentucky. His father was governor, very popular, and the other piece of it is it proves that the things you deliver actually matter. Maintaining Obamacare, which they call Connect, which they very wisely didn't call Obamacare. And it's popular. And when his predecessor tried to get rid of it, that is how Andy Bashir beat him the first time. That's how he became governor, was beating the guy who tried to take away Kentuckians' health care. So candidate quality matters, right? But talk about that from the Bashir angle, but also in the Youngkin angle for Republicans. They saw him as their high-quality candidate. But he made that election about abortion. He chose to do that. He said, if I get the majority in these two houses, I'm banning abortion.
There's so much to unpack here, Joy. Here's the thing. First off, when it comes to Andy Bashir, he did a good job. He is the second most popular governor in America, besides the governor of Hawaii. Like, he was a very, very popular guy. But this is an extremely red state. So it's not just that he did a good job, but he was running against Daniel Cameron, who arguably is the most loathed candidate amongst black people since the first time Donald Trump ran. I cannot stress this enough. I talked to plenty of people in Kentucky. That man has the blood of Breonna Taylor's hands. Her blood is on his hands. And people remembered that. And black voters remembered that. And Daniel Cameron couldn't run away from that. So Andy Bashir, by focusing on, hey, I've done a good job, and running against someone who is seen as the lowest of the low by most black voters, was a good combination. As far as Glenn Youngkin goes, you hear that sound? You hear that beeping? That's the truck. That's the bandwagon for Glenn Youngkin backing up away from Iowa and every other place. Okay, Glenn Youngkin was looking too far ahead. He was like, I'm going to win these elections. I'm going to be the reverse DeRay. I'm the guy in the vest. I play basketball in my front yard. I'm your cul-de-sac South Park Republican, and I'm going to be able to slide into the presidency. First off, no one is going to move ahead in the Republican Party until Donald Trump is gone. And second, you can't keep hiding what stinks. You can throw on all the cologne you can want. You can put on all the nice candidates you want. Abortion is a dead issue for Republicans. People don't like it, and Youngkin learned that lesson, but the rest of the party isn't going to figure it out.
Yeah, let me put up the map to that very point. Charlie, here it is. The state's affirming abortion access, and the pluses on there are how much it won by. Big. How much it won by. In Vermont, it won by 54 points. In Kansas, it won by 18. Red Kansas. In Ohio, by 14. Montana, 6. It doesn't matter, Charlie, where you do it. It's always going to win, like marijuana legalization and raising the minimum wage. Also very popular things that Democrats could just put on the ballot and help themselves out.
Well, what we saw again today, yesterday, was the Republicans have two separate problems, and both of them, I think, are, explain how alarmed they are by the results. I mean, one of them, of course, is the abortion issue, which is not going away. They thought they could finesse it in Virginia. I mean, this was you said the cheat sheet. They thought they had cracked the code. What if they went with a 15-week ban, right? Because that polls better. The fact that failed so spectacularly means they have to go back to the drawing board, and I don't know that they have a plan B beyond that. So that's one problem. The other problem is the MAGA problem, is the Donald Trump. Donald Trump was not on the ballot, but he won Kentucky by 26 points, and he went all in for Daniel Cameron. And the MAGA brand has been a weight on Republicans for years, and it was very dramatically a weight yesterday because Democrats hung the extreme MAGA label on the Republican candidate in a very, very red state, and it was successful. So if you're a Republican, you're sitting back going, oh my, despite all of the promising polls, the abortion issue is not going away, and 2024 is going to be all about MAGA and Donald Trump. I know there are a lot of Republicans that think that they can finesse the abortion issue, but yesterday was kind of a reality check. And by the way, I also agree with all of David's caveats about the limited predictive value of this election and how 2024 is different. But there's a reason why Fox News hosts and Republican consultants are kind of depressed today.
Well, I mean, Claire, a lot of people were wetting the bed, a bit moistening the bed, a bit, the Democrats, who just think Democrats do something about that New York Times Santa poll. But Biden wasn't on the ballot. This wasn't an election about Biden. It was in large part an election about Republicans, or an election about incumbents in the case of Andy Beshear. Even in Mississippi, what I took out of that race, the Presley, how close is that Mississippi is not an unwinnable state if you have a good candidate. And if you didn't have voting problems, you could put a lot of sort of factors in. To me, one of the reasons Biden likely won't walk away from this race is that I think the campaign is probably confident that as long as abortion is out there, and as long as Republicans are extreme on that, and even on things like LGBTQ issues, you had Virginia elect a first trans state senator. The culture war doesn't work for Republicans.
Yeah, the polling shows that Joe Biden and Donald Trump are not popular. Okay, fine, move on. This is about who is better for America. This isn't about who you like the most. This is a binary choice. This is a contrast. And what yesterday did is it showed us how to do the contrast. And by the way, we've got other players that are going to help here. I mean, they just put, by a unanimous vote, the Republican Party, Mike Johnson into the speaker's chair. The stuff he has said, the things he believes in, he is the poster child of the most extreme elements of the MAGA movement.
Yeah.
And scary extreme.
Yeah.
So they cannot run away from how far they have taken this. And here's what the bottom line is. People don't want government telling them what to do.
Boom.
They don't want to tell them what to read.
Yep.
They don't want to tell them how to raise their children.
That's right.
In terms of the trans issues. And
what to read. They don't want to be told what to read.
They don't want to. And this is where we have the ability to really talk about freedom with some real meaning and emotion. And you know what gets people out to vote? Emotion.
Yeah.
And that's what we've got to really focus on. Like David said, it's not going to be enough.
Yeah.
That they've got these extreme positions if we don't motivate our voters to understand what's at stake.
All right, we're going to use that as a tease because the hostage situation begins.